Good morning. It is 9:45 a.m. Pacific time on December 9th, Saturday, 2017. I'm Christiana Ellis and I just got up. This is 5 more minutes. So, recording this on my iPad because I am in a hotel in San Francisco, California. Because I'm in town for my office holiday party. I had a long flight last night. And got in relatively late. I was still couldn't make myself go straight to sleep coming out of the travel, so I discovered that the hotel room TVs have Netflix, and so as a result, I ended up watching the end of season 7 of Parks and Recreation, which is a show that I absolutely loved, but never did watch when it was new. I found it on Netflix while it was still airing, but it got to a point where when I was originally watching it, I got up through and finished the end of season 6 while season 7 was midway through. And so because I didn't want to try to figure out an obvious way or, some easy way to get caught up on season 7, I decided, I decided that season 7 would actually just be a show, sort of a, sealed break glass in case of emergency sort of thing. And I don't know about emergency really, but when I was sick earlier this week, I decided to finally start watching it, and so last night I watched the end in this series finale, and boy, I love that show. It's such a great show. It's so good. I love it. I just feel like I came to really love all of those characters, and several of them are nuanced in a way that is unusual, I think, for sitcom TV. I don't watch a lot of sitcoms, I'll be honest, but that's just generally because a lot of them kind of don't hold my interest. But this one always did, and I think that's largely, it's everyone involved, I'm sure, but the cast and the writing and, Amy Poehler and Aziz Ansari and, Adam Scott and Chris Pratt and Aubrey Plaza, everyone there. And even, for example, the character of Gary / Jerry / Terry, that character, I just feel like I don't know, I'm not sure I can think of another character that's quite like him. It's such a kind of this weird anomaly that I think they just discovered. I can't help but imagine that maybe part of the issue there was his character. I don't know how well developed he was right from the beginning, because he was kind of one of the secondary characters for a while. That I don't know, they just discovered some just magic little chemistry that worked, and it was just, he was consistently funny, even though he's a hard character to describe, because essentially, one of the great lines from this, towards the end of this last season if you haven't watched the show, he's this big white guy, older, but just got this sort of unsinkable, cheerful personality. He constantly screws stuff up, but just nothing gets to him. And so people treat him fairly badly just because he often messes things up. But I don't know, just somehow it's this weird thing where somehow, I don't know, it's hard to explain, because in some ways it feels like it could be sometimes mean-spirited, but it never quite plays that way, due to, I think, a combination of just the cast and the writing. But his name, it becomes a thing because it's Gary, but then everyone calls him Jerry consistently, to the point where he'll legally change his name just so that the other people won't be wrong. He moves to a different office, and they start calling him Terry there. And he'll tell the whole story, and it's like, oh yeah, well, I got there, and they said that they had another Jerry, so they should call me Terry, and and we're knowing, like, but his name is actually Gary, not Jerry. But then he just starts answering to Terry. But then towards the end, due to another one of those sorts of little flukes, they decide as a joke they're going to start calling him Gary, where the joke is that he's actually Terry, but they're going to call him Gary instead. And so he has this little moment to the camera where he just says, after 30 years of public service and working very closely with this team of people, they're finally going to call me by my own name. I'm so blessed. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I really love that show, and I'm very happy it exists, and it's a little bittersweet to now have closed that chapter where I had that one last season that was always there, but oh well. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to maybe do a little bit of stuff in the city before the party later tonight, so I'll talk to you tomorrow for 5 more minutes. As previously mentioned, although I would normally do the Ghost in the Shell rewatch on Sunday, I have an early morning flight tomorrow, so I will do that later this week. All right, bye.